Thanks, Melissa. You know, people are searching for more information about measles and vaccinations today. Yesterday, public health officials confirmed at least 9 people who visited Disneyland or Disney's California Adventure contracted measles last month. Now that sparked some fiery comments on our HLN Facebook page, of course, mostly from people bashing parents who do not vaccinate their children. Rachel wrote, "I'm just tired of parents thinking it's their choice to not vaccinate. No, you have an innocent, vulnerable child depending on you." Christy Paul is with me. Christy, what have you noticed people posting?
Well, they're sharing links to The Art of Saving a Life. Microsoft founder Bill Gates Foundation has actually commissioned art to remind people why vaccines are important. And the subheading is "Vaccines, a Masterpiece in the Making." Now, we need to point out that World Health Organization says measles vaccinations led to a 75% drop in measles-related deaths worldwide. This was from 2000 to 2013. But it hasn't convinced everyone, obviously, that vaccines are the right move, Yasmin.
So of course we got both sides of the argument on our Facebook page, and we invited you guys to come talk to us via Skype. Joining us now from San Diego, Rebecca Estepp from Los Angeles, Lindsay Trident, and also from Los Angeles, Marine Chikarian. Marine, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Rebecca, let's start with you. Tell us what turned you off of vaccinations.
Well, I was all for vaccinations until my first child was injured by a vaccine, and it caused an encephalopathy and ultimately brain damage. So I was all for vaccination until our family had a terrible incident. And that's what I think a lot of people on social media they're not understanding, that these families that didn't have their children vaccinated at Disneyland may have come to this conclusion because they are much like my family.
Yeah, everybody has their own reasons, certainly. Lindsay, I understand you are a fierce proponent of vaccinations. Is that right?
I am. And to me, there's never been a question of whether or not we vaccinate our child. If it protects her from diseases and it's the best for her health, then that's what we're going to do. To us, the benefits far outweigh the risks.
Maria, what precautions do you take as a parent with your children?
I mean, the precautions we take are everything from I breastfeed to make sure that we give her, give them the best nutrients. I also try to use chemical-free products like soaps and detergents. I also just make sure I always wash my hands and keep his hands clean, just to ensure that we're not catching any germs from anything else. But for me, vaccination is also something that you just have to do. I completely understand that there's always a risk related to vaccines, but once again, the benefits of vaccination far outweigh the risks, and I'm willing to take that small chance of something happening.
Rebecca, I was reading, researching before we did this interview, and I know that there was an article published in a medical journal about 4 or 5 years ago saying that certain vaccinations were connected to the development of autism, and then that article was then retracted ultimately. So, what do you think about that?
That is one of the most misunderstood articles in all of medical history. The original article just linked a new form of bowel disease to the MMR to children with developmental issues. And the doctor who wrote it said the parents reported that the novel form of bowel disease started just after they received the measles vaccine, and that he called for more research. So that has been very misunderstood, and the doctor has been vilified. And furthermore, that doctor produced all sorts of treatments that has saved my son from a lifetime of terrible bowel disease. So I'm a great fan of Dr. Wakefield, and he's helped thousands and thousands of children throughout the world.
Hey, Rebecca, I have a quick question, and I think this will help people understand things a little better. How was it determined that the vaccine was the cause of what happened to your child?
Well, what we did is he started having reactions, and I didn't realize it was from the vaccines. We were told that he kept picking up bugs every time he went to the pediatrician's office. What I didn't know, and what a lot of parents don't know, is after his vaccinations, he ran a fever. He would arch his back, which is a sign of encephalopathy. After he was diagnosed with autism, we took him to an immunologist, and the immunologist ran tests and showed that he had almost 0 titers to everything that he was vaccinated for, which was incredible because he had just been vaccinated. He was only 3 or 4 at this time, so his vaccines were very current. So we started putting it together. We have a family with autoimmune disorders. Yeah. My husband's a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps. He's had vaccine reactions so much that the Marine Corps now won't let him get those vaccines because they're concerned for his health.
Rebecca, it's obvious you're very passionate about this. Lindsay, in hearing Rebecca talking about not giving her child vaccine and what she believes resulted in her child's current situation, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, like anything, you have to understand the risks. And hearing Rebecca's story, I definitely understand, that's a possibility. But for me, again, just vaccines have been able to prevent diseases. So, that's one story, and it's very unfortunate. But for us, it doesn't really change our decision on whether or not we'll vaccine our child.
And does it, to the panelists in general, does it make you scared that these kids contracted measles because they weren't vaccinated and they visited this park?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the idea that my child can catch a disease because another parent chose to not have their child vaccinated is very scary. I mean, I'm trying to take all the precautions I can do on my side, but there's nothing I can do about all the other families and the decisions that they're making.
Well, thank you to the panel. We appreciate all of you weighing in, and we appreciate all of your opinions. And thank you, Christy. Mm-hmm. And just